Imagine a Venn diagram, right?
Okay, I'm picturing it.
In one circle, you have ancient Hindi poetry, classical linguistics, and traditional literature.
So deep traditional academia.
Exactly. And then in the other circle, you have artificial intelligence, national policy frameworks, and corporate voiceovers for global tech brands like Samsung.
Wow, okay. Most people would look at that and say those circles literally never touch.
Right. They are in completely different universes. But today, we are looking at the blueprint of a man who lives entirely in that overlap.
It is just a phenomenal space to occupy, especially when you consider that the ground is constantly shifting underneath us right now.
Oh, absolutely.
In this era of absolute information overload, understanding how someone manages to straddle the ancient and the bleeding edge, well, it's just an interesting biography. It is basically a survival guide for staying relevant.
And that is exactly the mission for this deep dive. We have a massive stack of sources today covering the extensive career of Dr. Trilok Nath Pandey.
It is quite the stack, yeah.
We are going to unpack how this one individual bridges traditional linguistic frameworks with modern technological realities. And, more importantly, we want to extract the insights on lifelong learning that you, listening to this right now, can actually apply to your own life.
Because to even begin to understand his methods, you really have to look at his foundation.
Right.
His career is a masterclass in how to continuously evolve your own expertise. But that evolution is built on a staggering amount of initial groundwork.
Staggering is definitely the word. I mean, looking through his academic credentials, it reads less like a resume and more like an endurance event.
He really does.
He has a double MA in Hindi.
Okay.
He holds a Bachelor of Education, a Master Education, and a PhD in Hindi.
Just wow.
Add to that over 18 years of teaching experience.
I mean, for almost anyone else, that is the finish line.
Exactly. You hit the pinnacle of academic qualification in your field, you settle into your career, and you just cruise.
Yeah, that cruising phase is where most professionals get comfortable. You have the title, you have the tenure, the material inside and out.
But he didn't cruise. Despite having all of those accolades, he is currently a research scholar pursuing a second PhD.
A second one.
Yes, this time in education. And he is pulling this off while actively working as the head of the Hindi department and subject coordinator at Calcutta Boys School in Kolkata.
Which is a massive job on its own.
Right. But he's also serving as an assistant professor at Vidyasagar College of Education in Siliguri. He's guest lecturing at St. Xavier's College of Education and acting as a guest speaker at Sathe College in Mumbai.
The sheer energy required to maintain that schedule is immense. But, the choice to pursue a second PhD in a different, albeit related field is the detail that unlocks his entire philosophy.
How so?
Well, there's a profound difference between mastering a subject and mastering the mechanics of how that subject is transferred to another human mind.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, so his first PhD in Hindi was about mastering the material, the cultural history, the syntax, the literature.
He mastered the what?
Exactly.
But going back to the drawing board for a PhD in education means he is obsessed with the how. It feels like he beat the academic video game, got the high score, the credits rolled, and instead of putting the controller down, he hit New Game Plus on a much harder difficulty.
Just to understand the underlying code of the game itself. I love that analogy.
Yeah, he just couldn't stop playing.
Because that underlying code is the architecture of learning. Knowing the subject simply isn't enough anymore. You have to obsess over the mechanism of teaching it.
Wait, looking at his resume again, that actually explains the crazy schedule.
Right, there are multiple jobs.
It isn't just about taking on extra work. He's building a 360-degree feedback loop.
No, definitely.
At Calcutta Boys School, he's dealing with middle and high school students, like the end users of the education system.
The ones actually taking the tests.
Exactly. So he gets to see the raw data of how a 12-year-old struggles with the concept. And then he can literally walk into a college classroom at Vidyasagar or St. Xavier's and tell the next generation of teachers exactly how to fix that struggle before it happens.
It is basically a live R&D lab.
A live R&D lab, yes.
He is operating at the ground level with students and at the meta level with future educators simultaneously. He isn't theorizing about education from an isolated university office.
Which so many academics do.
Right. He is testing his theories in real time across different age groups and professional tiers. That rare vantage point is what fuels his ability to innovate.
But let me push back on this for a second, acting on behalf of everyone listening. Because when we talk about his innovations, The sources show him smashing traditional subjects together with futuristic concepts.
The AI integration,
Yes, he is actively researching artificial intelligence in education while writing teaching modules for middle school Hindi.
which is a bold move.
It is. Usually, we view classical linguistics and AI as total opposites. In the modern classroom, they are often framed as enemies.
Oh, entirely. The common fear is that AI is just going to ruin language learning because the computer will just write the essay or translate the text for you.
Exactly. Why learn the grammar if an app can do it in 2 seconds? So how does he actually fit these two worlds together?
Well, it is a very natural fear, and one that is causing a lot of panic in educational circles, like you said. But his approach completely flips the script.
Ooh.
Think about it this way. Language is essentially the original operating system of human thought.
Okay.
It is how we code our ideas, how we process logic, how we transmit culture. AI is simply the newest operating system.
So they aren't enemies.
No, they're just different points on the exact same evolutionary timeline of human communication.
Okay, so instead of fighting the new operating system, he is figuring out how they interface. He is updating the old software to run on the new hardware.
Beautifully put. And to do that, he leans heavily on two major modern pedagogical frameworks: competency-based education and Bloom's revised taxonomy.
And both of these are cornerstones of India's recent national education policy, right? The NEP 2020.
They are the absolute bedrock of it, yes.
Let's unpack those for a second because they sound like heavy academic jargon, but they are crucial to understanding how he actually pulls this off. Let's start with competency-based education, or CBE.
Okay, give us the breakdown.
If you are learning to drive a car, passing a written multiple-choice test about road signs is just rote memorization.
You can pass the test without knowing how to actually drive.
Exactly. Actually being able to parallel park on a busy street during rush hour, now that is a competency.
Right.
CBE is all about proving you can apply the skill in the real world rather than just regurgitating facts on a test. And the NEP 2020 is India's massive push to pivot their entire national school system away from the old rote learning model and toward this kind of critical competency-based thinking.
Which brings us perfectly to Bloom's revised taxonomy, which is basically the engine he uses to actually get students to that level of competency.
Break that down for us. What is the taxonomy?
So Bloom's taxonomy is a framework that classifies learning into levels of complexity. Imagine a pyramid.
Got it.
At the very bottom of the pyramid, you have basic recall and memorization. Like, what is the definition of this Hindi word?
Very simple stuff.
Right, as you move up the pyramid, you get to applying, then analyzing, and at the very peak, you have evaluating and creating.
So if an educator keeps their students at the bottom of that pyramid, just memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary lists, AI is going to win every single time.
Without a doubt, ChatGPT can recall a definition or translate a sentence in 3 seconds.
That is the existential threat to traditional teaching. If education stays at rote memorization, human educators are completely obsolete.
And that is exactly why Dr. Pandey uses these modern approaches to push students to the top of the pyramid.
Walk us through what that actually looks like, though. Like, how does this play out on a Tuesday morning in a middle school Hindi class?
Okay, think about it like this. Instead of asking a student to simply memorize a classic piece of Hindi literature and write a basic summary, which, an AI can do perfectly,
Right.
an educator, using Dr. Pandey's methodology, might bring the AI directly into the assignment.
Wait, bringing the enemy right into the classroom.
Yes. The teacher could have the students use AI to generate a rough, literal translation of a deeply emotional Hindi poem.
Okay.
Then comes the human element. The assignment isn't the translation. The assignment is having the students analyze and evaluate why the AI's version feels hollow.
Oh, wow.
Where did the machine miss the cultural nuance? Which specific Hindi words have a historical weight that the AI completely failed to capture in its algorithm?
Oh, that is absolutely brilliant, because now the students are operating at the absolute peak of Bloom's taxonomy.
Exactly. They are evaluating and analyzing.
They're using the AI as a tool, like a baseline, rather than relying on it as a crutch. They're doing the high-level human thinking, the emotional and cultural intelligence that a large language model fundamentally struggles with.
And by doing this, he is teaching critical thinking and creativity through the medium of the Hindi language.
It proves that the language itself isn't outdated at all. It is the delivery method that needed an update.
Exactly. He prepares students for an AI-driven world, not by abandoning tradition, but by elevating how they interact with it.
But, here is the trap a lot of brilliant academics fall into. You figure out this incredible modern philosophy, like using AI to teach the emotional depth of classical poetry, but it stays locked in a university library.
Phone happens all the time.
It gets published in a journal, a few peers read it, and it just gathers dust. So how does a single teacher actually get these high-level frameworks onto the desks of millions of students?
Well, it all comes down to execution and scale. Having a brilliant idea is really only 10% of the battle.
What's the other 90?
Building the infrastructure to actually deliver it.
And the sources show his outreach is staggering, like truly staggering. He has conducted over 550 national workshops, seminars, webinars, and faculty development programs across India.
550.
Yes, 550.
The logistics alone of organizing and delivering that many sessions are just mind-boggling.
But it is the nature of these sessions that really matters, right? He isn't just talking to students.
No, he collaborates with massive organizations. He has worked with UNICEF.
Wow.
He works with major educational publishers like Saraswati Publications, Madhuban Educational Books, Party Pawan, and Cordova Publications.
Let's bring back that software analogy from earlier, because I think it perfectly captures what he's doing here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think of the individual students in a classroom as the apps running on a phone. Most dedicated teachers spend their entire careers focused on updating their specific apps. There are 30 students in their specific room.
Which is noble, but limited.
Right. But Dr. Pandey isn't just updating individual apps. He is patching the entire operating system of Indian education by training the developers.
The teachers, the principals, the curriculum designers.
Exactly. He has trained them 550 times over.
And the multiplier effect of that strategy is immense. When you run a faculty development program, you are rewiring how 50 or 100 teachers approach their Tuesday morning classes.
Right.
But he takes it a step further than just training. By writing the actual practical classroom books, titles like Prabhati ICSE and Vani Vinay Hindi Pathmala, he is taking his high-level philosophy and hard-coding it.
So the textbooks are the code.
They absolutely are. He embeds competency-based education in Bloom's taxonomy directly into the chapter exercises, the reading selections, and the assessment questions.
That is so smart.
He shifts from being a highly effective localized teacher to a national educational architect. When you write the textbook, your philosophy is physically sitting on the desk of a 12-year-old, dictating how they learn, regardless of whether you've ever actually met their teacher.
It ensures that his ideas about inclusive, future-ready learning environments aren't just theoretical thought experiments. They are being implemented at a massive physical scale.
Every single day.
So we have this academic powerhouse, this AI integrator, this national-scale educational architect. But then, reading through the sources, we hit a section that genuinely requires a double take.
Oh, the parallel career.
Yes, the media career. I mean, this is wild. The same researcher writing deep dive academic papers on AI challenges and India's NEP 2020 is also a senior journalist with Hindi Samaja Dainik.
It is crazy.
And it goes further. He is a bilingual voice artist and presenter for All India Radio, Doordarshan, and Taza TV.
That is just so unexpected.
And his voice has represented global corporate brands like Samsung, as well as Tracksmart, Bengal Water, and Indian gems and jewelry creations in both Hindi and English.
It seems like a bizarre pivot at first glance, honestly. Like a traditional language scholar finding themselves in a voiceover booth for a global smartphone campaign.
How does that even happen? What is the connective tissue between teaching middle school Hindi and doing corporate voiceovers?
Well, the connective tissue is the optimization of a single fundamental skill.
Which is?
Communication.
Ah, okay.
Whether you are explaining complex educational policy to a room full of skeptical teachers, or writing sociocultural journalism, or trying to captivate a consumer in a 30-second tech commercial, the core requirement is identical.
You have to capture an audience's attention, hold it, and convey a message with absolute clarity and emotional resonance.
Exactly. He has just taken that core skill and stress-tested it across every conceivable medium.
That makes a lot of sense. He writes poetry and literary criticism, which sharpens his artistic communication.
Right.
He practices journalism, which hones his ability to be concise and objective.
And he speaks on national television and radio, which perfects his vocal pacing and delivery.
So all of those external pursuits basically act as cross-training for his primary mission in education.
This is exactly why his faculty development workshops are so incredibly effective.
Because he isn't standing at a podium delivering dry, monotone academic data.
Exactly. No one wants to listen to that.
Yeah.
He's delivering pedagogical frameworks with the polish of a professional broadcaster and the narrative hook of a seasoned journalist.
He has taken all the friction out of the transmission of knowledge. I mean, a lot of academics struggle because their research is brilliant, but their delivery is just so dense.
Dense and unapproachable. Dr. Pandey mastered the message through his multiple degrees, and then he went out and completely mastered the medium.
The sheer volume of his accolades really reflects this dual mastery, too. The sources list the Teacher Innovation Award by the Sri Aurobindo Society, alongside the Telegraph Literary Honor.
Which is huge.
Yeah, and the Madhuban Saman, the Abhivyakti Saman, the Saraswati Best Teacher Award, and the Best Educator Award.
Notice how those awards bleed across boundaries.
Yeah, a literary honor sitting right next to an educator award.
It is physical proof of his ability to break out of the academic ivory tower and engage with the broader public.
And it all funnels back into a singular, cohesive worldview. There is a specific quote from Dr. Pandey in the material that I think acts as a synthesis of this entire deep dive.
I know exactly the one you mean.
Let me pull it up. I have it right here. He says, education is not merely the transmission of knowledge. It is the awakening of curiosity, compassion, creativity, and character. Through language and literature, we shape not only informed minds, but enlightened human beings.
It's a beautiful quote.
Reading that now, after understanding the sheer mechanical scale of his work, it hits with so much more weight.
It does, because when he states that education is not merely the transmission of knowledge, he is directly addressing the threat of AI.
Oh, right, because mere transmission is exactly what computers do.
Exactly. The process of awakening creativity and character, though, that requires a deeply intentional methodology. It requires pushing students to the top of Bloom's taxonomy.
It also completely justifies that second PhD. He realized early on that you don't awaken curiosity by forcing a student to just memorize a textbook.
No, you awaken it by challenging them to think critically about the world, using the language as a lens.
And when he talks about shaping enlightened human beings through language, you see why he fights so hard to bring Hindi into the future.
He isn't clinging to the language out of mere historical nostalgia.
Not at all. He recognizes it as an incredibly powerful instrument for emotional and cultural development in a world that is, frankly, becoming increasingly automated and digitized.
It is a phenomenal lens through which to view a career. It brings us all the way back to the question we opened with.
What does a truly future-ready professional look like?
It turns out they look like someone who refuses to stop being a student, even when they are the leading expert in the room.
Right. They look like someone who masters the old world, embraces the new world, and then dedicates their life to building the bridge between the two.
They are willing to step completely outside of their designated lane, into journalism, into voiceover work, into national policy.
Just to ensure their core message is heard loud and clear. Which leaves us with a final thought for you listening to this right now. We have just explored how Dr. Pandey took his traditional expertise in Hindi literature and cross-pollinated it with totally unexpected fields.
Artificial intelligence, national policy scaling, and corporate media voiceovers.
He played the academic video game, beat it, and then started combining seemingly unrelated genres to create a completely unique, massive impact. So, look at your own life, your own career, your own skill set.
What is your overlap?
Right. What is one totally unexpected, seemingly unrelated field that you could integrate into your own area of expertise today to create a massive, unique impact?
It is a challenge worth taking on.
It absolutely is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating career and methods of Dr. Trilok Nath Pandey. Stay curious, keep learning, and we will catch you next time.